Hello and welcome to this small presentation on how to go about referencing a chapter from an edited book using the University of Wollongong Harvard's referencing style. In order to find the University of Wollongong Harvard's referencing style, have a look at the University of Wollongong library page, and on the right-hand side, click on the word that says referencing. Then you'll need to look down the left-hand side. There are different referencing systems used at the University of Wollongong. Click on the one that says author date Harvard, and you will have a screen in front of you that looks similar to the one that I'm showing you here. And if you click on books, you will see that you can look up the referencing for a single author book, multiple author book, book review, and on the last tab on the right-hand side at the top is chapter in an edited book. If you click on this, you will then see the screen that follows this one. When you click on the heading chapter in an edited book, this is the screen that you see, and it gives you examples here for a direct quotation, in-text citation, paraphrasing, and the reference list. If you look carefully, you see that the direct quote and the paraphrasing both refer to the author as Gray. And in the reference list example, Gray is the name at the beginning of the reference list. And you should know that Gray is the author of the chapter. And Gray, in this example, wrote the chapter called The Hair of Milton, Historicism and Literary History. The title of the book was Romanticism, History, Historicism, Essays on Unorthodoxy. So we need to distinguish when you're looking at a book in front of you, which is the chapter author and which is the editor of the entire book. I'll show you how to do that on the following slide. Here you can see the front cover of a book, and there's two pieces of information from this front cover that we would need. This is the title of the book. This is the title that goes in italics in the second half of the reference list entry. The other piece of information that we have here is the name of the editor. Often the editor is also an author of a chapter, but in this sense, when we have a series of chapters, each of them written by a different author, the role of the editor is to organise all of those different people to write in their specialised area their individual chapters. The other piece of information that we need is the name of the publisher, where the book was published, and the year that it was published. You can see here that it was first published in 2010, and I have nothing more recent when I look at the information on this frontispiece. Then I have the name of the publisher, Palgrave Macmillan. Now you're left with deciding where the location was, and you can see underneath that Palgrave Macmillan is in the UK and in the US. In this instance, because the editor, Philip J. Kitchen, is writing from England, I've gone with the UK imprint. If you have a look at the table of contents, this does make very clear that this is an edited book with a series of chapters written by different people. And if ever you're unsure, have a look at the table of contents, and then you will know whether the book you're looking at needs to be referenced in the way that we're doing here as a chapter, or whether you need to reference the entire book. So in this case, you can see that underneath each chapter, there is a different author listed. And for today's example, we're going to assume that you've taken some information from chapter 2 by Joanna Seddon, and we're going to use this as the example in our reference list entry. Now that we have all of the information that we need, we can complete a reference list entry for this book. We begin with the author's name. That is the author of the chapter and their initial. So in this case, it would be Seddon J. Next, we have the year that the book was published, 2010. Next, we have the title of the chapter, in this case, Brand Valuation and IMC. Then we have the word in, and we have the initial and the name of the editor, and we indicate that they are an editor by putting ED in brackets afterwards. In this example, in PJ Kitchen, parenthesis, ED, full stop, parenthesis, comma. Next, we have the title of the book in italics. And notice that even though the words brand, marketing, measuring, returns all had capitals on the front cover, we don't put capitals in the heading, the title of the book in the reference list entry. Then we have the name of the publisher, Palgrave Macmillan. Then we have where it was published, and the page numbers are the first to the last page of chapter on brand valuation and IMC. The other thing to note is that this reference list entry uses what is called a hanging indent. In other words, the first line of the reference list is left justified. All subsequent lines are indented. So now you have a complete version of how to do a reference list entry for a chapter in an edited book.